starts in the right direction. And yeah, so hi everyone. Welcome to Leeds 101, the series in which we are gradually indoctrinating Crystal here into becoming a Leeds United fan. How are you doing? Are we doing good? We're doing bad? We're doing middle?
It's been a day. Actually, it's been kind of a week. It's been a couple weeks. We haven't
Been a
done
month.
this in a while, so I feel like, yeah, it's been a month. We haven't done this in a while. Since we last did this, I went home to Vancouver. I came back. Look, I'm actually rocking Vancouver today. Do you see that? Yeah, nice.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it's been kind of a wacky little bit of a month. Positive, good things are happening, which is nice. But yeah, it was a bit of a slump. I'm not gonna lie, but I feel good today. Sun is shining. How are you?
But it's a slump that we're coming through. I'm doing okay. And as you would always say to someone when you're on public transport, be mindful of suspicious packages. Crystal,
Ooh.
what did you do?
Okay, I don't know if the chat knows, but Mr. Joe's birthday is on, I want to say it's Saturday.
It's Friday, but
No,
very, very
Friday.
close.
It's the 7th.
Good
I
effort.
know it's the 7th. I'm terrible with days, guys. I thought it was fucking Thursday today. Sorry. But yes, I got him a sneaky little package because as you see, I'm representing this. I don't know if you guys know, this is San Francisco 49ers. It's a brand that I love. They're called Residency with a 3 in there for one of their E's, which is really fun. And Joe does not represent the 49ers in any capacity. So I may or may not have gotten him a birthday present to potentially change that. We'll see. I hope it's the right size.
I'm gonna have to find out your birthday now, aren't I? Just to.
Oh, dude, it's not
Revenge.
till July. Like, you got a long time. Yeah, it's
Oh,
okay.
but that's when the new kit is going to be out. So I mean, that's vengeance time.
Or you can get me a sneaky one that's like kind of burgundy color. That's older because I remember you showing me one that looked really sick, but we couldn't find where it was. Remember?
They're so hard to get a hold of.
I know.
They don't exist anymore. Hold on, I'm gonna rip this open.
We're doing an unboxing today, guys.
It's a lovely little hat. No, we're not about to see Joe in red. Red is the cursed color, unless it's the Rafinha kit. But there we go.
Okay, but look, I got as minimal red as possible, which I think is a good thing.
Fair play.
Okay, but can you try it without the headphones? I want to make sure it's all good.
No, I can't, because then I can't hear you. No, it's fine.
Just for a minute, okay.
For the moment, you can say whatever you like about me, and that would be horrific. I'm gonna get some of the stickers off, though. That'll be 1 second.
Oh yeah, and if there's that
I
lining
think I've
thing
got
in there,
a large head. I can't
it's
hear
a
what you're
medium
saying,
large.
but
it's a medium large. I got him a medium large because
I don't know whether I feel offended.
I don't know. I'm like a small in my head. I think I have a smaller head than Joe. I don't think he can hear me. He'll hear this back later.
There we go.
Hell yeah! Let's go. Okay. See? A medium large is good, is it not? I know you don't have a massive head, but small is very small.
Oh, that's fair. It is roughly right, to be fair. I guess I have a medium to large head.
Yeah.
Which I didn't expect, but there we go.
I sometimes have a medium head, so you know what? I thought we got to go with that because I got poofy hair, right? And you got some poofy hair every now and then.
And, like, to be fair, if you've got a small head, you are a small person. I'm a bigger person than you, therefore medium to large.
He's actually quite tall, guys. I met him in real life.
I know, it's great. Like, yeah. It's nice to have a little bit of confirmation that I'm genuinely a bit of a tall person.
A bit of a tall. Not like overly tall, but tall.
Yeah. I'm sensibly tall.
Yeah. Good amount.
Yeah. On this one, hello, Only Leeds Bros. We have a cheeky little Go Niners. So your season is done. How we'll cover that off now. How did that one go?
It was not a great season. We didn't make playoffs this season because we had, I'm not going to sit here and make excuses, but we had a lot of injuries. Things were just not going our way. There was a couple bad things that happened off the field with a couple players, like family-wise, that you never want to go through in your life. And I just think it affected the locker room too much and infiltrated. We had a really terrible defensive coordinator, Brandon Staley. Did not like him. I thought our defense really was trash in the beginning, and our defense used to, like, you know, in football, at least they say, or American football, they say defense wins championships. We were not winning anything with that defense. And the offense was kind of sitting around doing, like, handstands on the sidelines. Like nothing was going on. It wasn't a good year for us. And that's okay for me to say. You know what? Like I look at it and I think these are years that happen every now and then. And at least I'm not going to get my heart broken in the Super Bowl this coming Sunday, because the Super Bowl's happening. It's two teams that I friggin' hate. The Chiefs, who beat us last year, they're looking to three-peat this Sunday, and we don't want that. So I'm a really big Chiefs fan this Sunday because every team I cheer for loses. But then on the flip, there's the Philadelphia Eagles. We also don't like them because they destroyed our team 2 years ago in the NFC Championship game. They broke Brock Purdy's little elbow, not broke it, but did something really bad to it. And then I feel like he's not been able to throw the same since. Maybe that's what happened last season. I don't know. A lot of like question marks of what's going to happen. But I do think, fun fact. I'm just kind of going on a tangent right now because you're letting me talk about the Niners. I haven't done this in a while.
Fun facts.
But the defensive coordinator that we just brought back to the Bay used to be the head coach of David's team, our coworker David, the New York Jets. He had two seasons there, I believe, 2 or 3. I can't remember. He got canned, like he got let go. His name's Robert Saleh. We love him. And I've been like campaigning for him to come back to the Bay. And he came back to the Bay. So he's going to be our defensive coordinator in 2025, which is amazing. And I feel like that's our year because I don't know if you know this, another fun fact. But next year, the Super Bowl. So Super Bowl this year is at New Orleans, at NOLA, we call it. Next year, it's in Santa Clara where the 49ers play at Levi Stadium. So I think it's going to be a whole full circle moment. It's going to be a real shit year this year, whatever happens. And then we're going to do some big off-season moves, which we're going to talk about, I think. Same with Leeds doing some in-season transfer moves and stuff. And we're going to compare it a little bit. But we're going to do a big move, and we're going to win the Super Bowl in Santa Clara next year, 2025 season. Book it, guys. I'm saying it right now. So, yes, that's where we're at right now. We're being confident about next season.
We're also in the position where, and this is a tangent that is going to take us onto the wider conversation for the episode, you don't hugely understand how football transfers work a lot of the time. And you said you had many, many, many questions about what was going on with it. So we'll cover those off in a moment. On this one, the Philly defense was awesome in the championship game. Never mind that running back. I've learned not to like Philly fans, though. Am I right in thinking that they're the ones that are very, very, very thuggy and a bit?
Yeah. They're not great fans. I'm going to say this, though. I think there's a group of those kind of people in every single fan base. Philadelphia, like they're the brotherly love or city of brotherly love. I don't think that that's very true. There's like a lot of shenanigans that go on there. It's very like hooliganism, if that makes sense. I think that is the right term for it. That being said, I have a few Philadelphia Eagles fans that are really awesome, and I rock with them, and I think they're great people. So again, there are some really terrible fans in every single fan base. But yeah, I'm not crazy about them because they cheer for injuries and stuff. And like, you don't want to win a game because you injured the heck out of some player. And that's the only reason you won that game. I'm not a fan of that. And I do think a lot of the Philly fans cheer for that. I've had some people, they were not last season, the year before. No, it was last season. Philly had a really terrible year last year. And like some other fans were sending me some like really terrible DMs and like saying they hope my daughter dies and all this shit. And it was just really messed up. So I have like a hard time with the Super Bowl coming up because I don't want to cheer for the Chiefs because I don't want them to get the three-peat. But I also feel like Philadelphia people, some of them don't deserve that win. I don't know. I'm like a toss-up. I'm just cheering for a good game. I actually, the Super Bowl halftime show, they always have some performer come in, and it's Kendrick Lamar, and I absolutely love him. So I'm looking forward to that. I have a really fun outfit that I'm going to wear for Super Bowl Sunday, and it's like basically a mock at both the teams that are playing, and I love it. It has to do with the 49ers in a way. So hopefully it comes in time. I ordered a shirt. I like made it myself and everything, but I had to order it. But yeah, we kind of don't want any of them to win.
No.
Like it could just be a scratch here.
I think by default, based on the fact that I'm married to a Swiftie, I kind of have to not hate the Kansas City Chiefs for this one.
Yeah,
just out of peer pressure, but it's fine. Football Guru, thank you very much, Ricky. It says classy touch from Crystal with the cap, and it is. It's a very nice cap. It's going to stay here for now, and then it will become part of the backdrop.
Oh, his cap, yes. Oh my God, yes.
You're not wearing a cap. You're wearing just a hat.
This is a beanie, yeah. I know.
I think cap needs to have the whole.
Yes, true.
flump going on.
Cap, yeah.
A quick bit of information
Just how
for
much he
everyone.
loves it.
Yeah, it's great. A quick bit of information for anyone watching, by the way. This stream's going to be a little bit shorter than normal. I've got a meeting going on at 2, so I think we're going to end at something like 1:45 because we always have a bit of a natter afterwards.
Yeah.
So, and that is a meeting that I cannot let the natter extend into. So, be all good. So, you said that you came prepared with a few questions about how football transfers work. I'll be honest, 90% of the time, I feel like I also don't know how football transfers work. Hello, Iris. But go ahead, shoot. Let's have a conversation about one of the most confusing bits of the sport.
Cute. Okay, this is like my main question here, and I feel like I'm going to have some tumble questions that come off of it. So I clearly am new to this whole Leeds thing. I've been watching Serie A soccer, calcio, football, whatever. I've been watching it my whole life. Obviously, whenever Italy plays, like I understand how to play the game, what goes on in the game, all that. But the transfer market stuff has never been something I've looked into, nor is it something I really wanted to, other than when we're clearly getting our stuff prepared for work and everything. I need to look into it a little bit, and it scares the heck out of me. So for someone like me, a 5-year-old brain, when it comes to this kind of thing, can you explain to me, like I'm a 5-year-old, how the transfer market works?
Okay. I can try. So, let's bring up an example. Let's take a Leeds badge, and can someone name a football club for me? Any football club. Screw it. We'll do because Udinese. Fine, we'll do Udinese because there's a link going there, and it makes sense. And you know what? Being very, very thoughtful. Oh, we didn't cover this either. Did you know that we've had our biggest win since 1972?
Was that the 7-0 game?
That was the 7-0 win. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
6 different players scored. This is something Joe taught me. I was like, did anybody get a hat trick? No, they did not. But 6 players scored, which shows that this team is absolutely ready to move up.
It's ready to move up. It's ready to go. It's all good. It's fine. Right. So I'm going to dive into it. I'm going to use someone as an example. I'm going to have to pick someone out. I'm not going to pick an Udinese player because that feels like that would make far too much sense. I'm going to pick a guy that we were linked with towards the end of the transfer window. This bloke called Spurtian, which is a hell of a name.
Yeah, I like it.
Absolutely forgot many a time. But I'll pretend that I didn't because that makes me feel more good. So bring that line to the front, and we got a cheeky little, if I'm able to move things around the way that they should move around, whiteboard thing. So, do a screen share. So, Mr. Spurtian over here, let's say that he plays for Udinese. He doesn't. He plays for a team in Russia. But let's say, for the sake of argument, he plays for Udinese. And Leeds really, really want to sign him because he's the right kind of player that we need. We've got the money to do it. I'm going to bring up a quick element of money. There we go. There's a small pile of money. And quite simply, what Leeds would do is just say to Udinese, can we sign this player for this much money? And if they agree, cool, you get the money, you get the player. Easy enough. Of course, you need to agree a contract with the player, but it's fine. If they say, no, we want a little bit more cash for him, cool, you got 2 piles of money, and you can either agree to do that or you can not do that.
This is awesome.
The main difference with stuff that happens in the NFL, for example, is, and I'm going to have to find another previous upload. Please ignore this, but I've got some worky bits in here as well. Please ignore all of that as well. Let's pretend that they are Ligue 1 teams. And they are playing in Ligue 1. We know that they're not, but it's fine. The difference between NFL and football is when you are talking about NFL sides, both of these tend to be part of the NFL, right? So Leeds would be, or Leeds' equivalent, the 49ers, would be in the NFL. The New York Jets would be also under the NFL banner and would be making agreements within a league, right?
Yep.
And for the most part, if I remember right, I know it's the case in MLS and it might be the case in NFL as well, but they're all part of one big sort of incorporated body. So in theory, in the MLS, no MLS players are employed by the club. They are instead employed by sort of the entire league and then just put in a club, the one that they made an agreement with.
Right.
That's not the case. So in the case for football, yes, there is the big league and you've got to register all of your signings with the league and all that sort of stuff. But the players' rights are owned by the football club themselves. So there is no involvement from the league that says that, okay, well, we've got the commercial rights to, in this case, Spurtjan. All of those commercial rights would be agreed, whether they are held by him, whether they are held by the club, in the contract between him and the club. It's very decentralized compared to the NFL, which is, I think, a good thing because it means that players have a lot more power in this situation. And
Yeah,
I'm always the kind of guy that like backs the idea that someone that is doing the work should see the benefit of the work, and that's why they're able to negotiate their own contracts, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, does that all roughly make sense?
yeah, it does. It's nice that the players get the power because I feel like what we're seeing in the NFL sometimes is that they request these trades because they're being treated a certain way or they're not given what they want, and it has nothing. Sometimes it has nothing to do with money. Sometimes it does. They want their value. They want what they're worth, especially if they take their team to a Super Bowl or whatever it is. But we've seen a lot of recent news of certain players requesting trades and wanting out of a situation that they're not happy with. And like sometimes it's not even an option. And like there's a player that I want the Niners to trade for example, and his name is Myles Garrett. He's an edge rusher. He's incredible. I think he'd look really good alongside one of our players, Nick Bosa, and like really stack up the defense. Like I was saying, our defensive coordinator, he's incredible, Robert Saleh, and I think that he's one of the guys that would pull trigger on a guy like this. But it's not as easy as like, hey, I want to trade, get me out of here. There's so many more things that come into play with like the cap space and everything in the NFL. And like if they can acquire that based on the cap amount that they have, that they're bringing over from last season, that they have allotted for this season with new players or other players up for contract renewals and whatnot, like it gets really complicated. And sometimes those requests that these players want cannot be met. You know what I mean? So it doesn't really give the players as much control. And I that sucks because then their future's in jeopardy if they end up sitting out for the season, let's say, because they're not happy with the team, but the team's like, no, we don't want to trade you. They end up just sitting out for a season and then their dollar amount goes down for the next season or whenever they are up for renewal and a new team can take them on. So yeah, it's cool that they have this option for the players. I feel like it gives them more of their own value, which is nice to see because you don't always see that across the board with different leagues.
It can still be fairly complicated in a similar regard, though. So, like, if a player wants to force a move, but the selling club doesn't want to sell them and doesn't have a need to sell them, they can just go, well, no, because we need you next season. But I think there's another sort of fundamental difference between American football and football, in that in American football, like, if you were guessing, you had to put a number on it, how many players are like contracted to the 49ers right now?
Oh God, we have a lot of free agents coming up this year, and that's why like I'm a little nervous. Okay, with a 53-man roster, I want to say we have like 35 to 40 of them that are locked in. Maybe it's
Okay,
maybe it's
but
like
the
15 of
average
them that could go.
roster is 53 people, right?
Yeah. Starters. We have practice squad dudes and all that, but yeah, 53 people that start.
What are practice squads?
Practice squad is like dudes that you basically have ready to go in case something were to happen with like injuries and whatnot with other players.
Okay, if you're including those, what rough number would you put on it?
Let's see. This is something I don't know, so I'm going to look it up. Okay. 53-man roster to 55 players. How many NFL players are on the practice squad? 16 players. Okay. So we got 16 players on the practice squad, 53-man roster that starts. So do the math. I'm terrible.
So the funny number, it's 69.
69. There we go.
Hey.
Nice.
So
out of 69, I'd say, yeah, at least 40 of them are probably locked in. Don't quote me on that, guys, but like maybe there's like, a handful of them that aren't signed with the 49ers currently. They're free agents or they're up for renewal and maybe the Niners don't want to renew them, or they're in their last year of their contract and they can start negotiating a new contract and everything, which gets a little dodgy because then you have like the cap space that's not only for this next coming season, but like the years after that you have to take into account because they have all these guarantees and whatnot too. So it gets a little complicated. I'm not great with this. I try and look it up at like under the cap or spot rack, I think it is, that talks about the cap space. And I'm trying to learn a little bit more with it. But the Niners right now, they have like a decent amount. I want to say, let's see, I was looking this up. They have 51.9 million cap space right now. So that's like to try and fill all those guys that not only are free agents, but like the ones that are coming up for renewal maybe the next season. Like Brock Purdy, for example, he has 1 year left on his contract. He's our quarterback currently. 1 year left on his contract. So he's technically not up for renewal right now, but a lot of the time they try and lock in that deal when they are in this situation. But he had like not the greatest season this past year, not really his fault, but like other things going on. And like, I feel like if he were to sign a contract right now, based on his worth of what he did last year, maybe it wouldn't be the best, but he's going to try and look for like a $60 million deal per year, which is kind of crazy. So you have to think we have 51.9. So they're going to spread that out over the next few years and make, like guaranteed amount of money and all this other stuff that comes into play. So it gets a bit complicated, but we also can roll over some dead cap space that like we didn't use from the last year. And then if we do ship off some other players that have a specific amount left on their contract, another team can take that over and we get that money back kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So
sorry,
that's a hell of a lot of players. I lost where my own point was going. Hold on 1 second. So the sort of direction I was going was like an American football team, you're looking at about 70-ish players, right? By comparison, in total, the number of players that have gotten minutes for Leeds this season is 26.
Okay.
So I think it's a case of an individual player is significantly more valuable in the world of football compared to American football. So like you'll still have your bigger stars like a Brock Purdy, for example, or a McCaffrey is still going to be seen in really, really high regard. But a lot of players in American football are far more replaceable, and you can reasonably just say, okay, you're going to sit on the bench for a year because screw it. Whereas there's significantly fewer English or like European football players. I'm just going to keep calling it football because it is.
It's football, yeah. Don't worry.
There's significantly fewer footballers that are of that standard. So if a footballer is deeply unhappy and wants to move, the vast majority of the time, it is the right thing to do to say, okay, you can make a move, we'll find you a club, we'll get some money, and then we'll find a replacement for you. Because it's no good having a player that is going to be vastly underperforming, that doesn't want to be there, that is affecting the morale of everyone else, and that having a way less diluted effect than it has in American football.
Right.
So whilst, yeah, a club can in theory say, yeah, we don't want you to leave, so stick around for a year. It's not a case of stick around for a year and we'll keep you behind the scenes. It's stick around for a year. Please keep playing and doing quite well for us. That happened for us like a year and a half ago when Nonto wanted to leave because we got relegated, which is, I mean, fair enough. I understand his perspective. He went on strike from training for a few days, which was good. He said he didn't want to play one of the matches for us, which was great. Well done. But in the end, it was a case of we persuaded him round by basically saying, give us a bit of time and we'll get there. So it's a case of making commitments to your players, and then if you don't fit in with those commitments, then they're completely within their rights to say, I don't want to be here, to be honest. And then for the most part, clubs will find ways to facilitate those moves because that's the sensible thing to do in those situations. Just because otherwise you're just leaving money on the table because your player's getting a year older. Football careers are really short anyway, so you're potentially wasting a year of a young player's career and all that kind of stuff. There is also a potential issue of if a player wants to leave and you can't find them a club, then they're obviously not going to be able to make a move. But I feel like you had a question.
Yeah, I was going to say, because you brought up something and I'm curious. What is the average amount of time that a football player would play? I guess it depends on the position. Is that right or no?
A little bit. So goalkeepers will all footballers will be like in a football club from the age of like 10 or 11. They might
Right.
break into the senior squad anywhere between 16 and 20.
That's so young.
And yeah, and then I'll have a quick search. Average football retirement age. Let's have a look. So goalkeepers will tend to go until they're like 40,
Wow.
or yeah, because when you think about what a goalkeeper does, it's less intensive on the body. Well, it's different intensive
Right.
to what other footballers are doing. So a goalkeeper's not sprinting around, but it's the impact for a goalkeeper that's going to sort of shorten the career.
Hmm.
Whereas an outfield player, like attackers, you can see go to like early 30s, so 33, 34. Defenders, you could see maybe going to later 30s, 36, 37. But
Okay.
it sort of depends. I think I don't know what the average sort of ages would be for an American football player, but I feel like there's a sort of difference in the stresses and strains on bodies that could maybe see American football players go a bit longer, because the big difference is American football is played in short, sharp bursts that
Mm,
happen like for 18 to 20 weeks a year, whereas footballers are just playing the full 90 minutes every weekend, which
right.
is a very different strain to have to go through. So if you've got a career that is going, if you're lucky, 20 years, because if you get a serious injury, then it could just be game over for you. But if you've got a career that's going about 20 years, then it's understandable that a lot of players go, actually, I kind of want to go somewhere that I'm going to actually be able to play,
Yeah.
which is why, again, I think clubs are a little bit more flexible to it. They're more understanding of the fact that careers are pretty short in football.
Yeah. I was gonna say, like, I'm just looking at it now because I was curious. Like, according to the stat site, the average NFL career spans a mere 3.3 years. Obviously, like it really depends on the position,
Yeah.
but 3.3 years is insane because you think like there are a lot of different. I think there's other reasons for it too. It's like you could get cut from the team because you're not up like playing up to par or whatever. But like some injuries, just like they're done. Do you know what I mean? Now, then you look at people like Tom Brady, one of the best quarterbacks of all time. I think he played for like 22 years, something like that. So the quarterbacks, if they're protected and they have a nice pocket and they're good, they literally could play forever. But yeah, no, NFL players, they don't have a great span. I didn't realize that. It's nuts.
Yeah. I think it's the very vast difference in the way that they play the sport. So, like in NFL, I imagine what is going to take you out is either you're not quite good enough, so you're going to be replaced. Which,
Yeah.
again, as we've mentioned, with the like replaceability of American football players is very much like, ah, well, you're not performing. We've got 70 other guys, so we'll work something out.
Yeah.
But it's also sort of like stylistic, right? I imagine impact injuries are a lot more common in the NFL. Like I can't remember which of the championship games it was that I was watching. It might have been, who was it? It was the one with the Kansas City Chiefs in it. But one of their opponents got real badly concussed. And it's like, okay, that's the sort of thing that shortens careers quite a lot.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, one of the more fundamental differences, I would say. But
Yeah, and then there's obviously like ACL, MCL tears. Those happen quite often. Like you see some of the wide receivers. One of the ones that happened this past season was with our guy that just signed a big, massive, lucrative contract, Brandon Ayuk. Remember I told you about him? And then the game that we played against the Chiefs when I went over, and then I came and met you in Leeds. That one there, he tore his ACL and MCL, I believe, both of them, which I don't even know how that happens. And he had just signed this massive contract. Obviously, there's guarantees if things happen, if this were to happen in a season, but then, you know, you're not making as much as you would if you were out on the field. There's more incentives that come with that and whatnot. But yeah, like amazing wide receiver, and then something goes wrong in a play, and that happens. And it happens all the time. There were so many drastic like ACL, MCL tears happen all the time. And they're always the guys that are like the star players. It's always those guys. It's wide receivers it happens to quite a bit. Running backs, like our guy Christian McCaffrey, he went out this season too. All season he didn't play, I think, until like week 9, week 10. I can't remember. I want to say it was week 9. And then he did play, and then even then, like a few weeks later, he ended up getting an ACL or MCL tear. I can't remember which one. And he was done for the season again. So it's just insane, like the kind of endurance that these guys have to have in order to really make it through the entire season because of the things that are happening on the field. And you're right, like it's those short bursts and everything. But yeah, I don't know. That's why they're looking for that guarantee of money. And I get it, but like it's so tough. I don't know. The transfer market seems a little bit more in favor of the players, but obviously anything can happen in that time frame of something. Does it affect? I was going to say this too. Do injuries affect what the player would make from that contract that the new team takes over kind of thing?
It varies a little bit. So it's less of a your contract is being taken over and more you would sign a completely new contract at whatever your new club is with its own sort of wages and clauses and all that sort of stuff. And it's like a complete reset on what's going on with that. And it can do. Like I know for a fact that a lot of football clubs have like transfer insurance. So if they sign a player and he gets severely injured, then they would get an insurance payout based on that because you're still paying his wages whilst he's not on the pitch for you. So that sort of thing happens.
Yeah.
There's also cases of if a player is more injured, then their contracts might be more weighted towards, okay, so your initial wage is a bit lower, but you get big appearance fees. So if you are actually playing, you get paid out. If not, then you just get that sort of lower level. So I think that's a way that clubs try to deal with that and keep things a little bit more affordable.
Right.
There is a good point. That is that we have a match tonight that I had completely forgotten to mention to this point. So we're going to wrap up the transfer bit relatively sharpish. Have you got any further questions about transfer stuff?
Was there anyone we acquired?
No. I was very hopeful there would be, but I think we'll find out if we care that much in the coming weeks. Because at the moment, I'm still in the sort of confident place of we're probably still going up, so it's fine. But a lot of people are in the position of we could have really done with a little bit more depth throughout our squad. So it's difficult to say. But we do have a match tonight, and everyone is already making their predictions, including Leon saying we're off for the win, including Shane saying that we expect to get the 3 points, including Michael, who says we need to beat Fat Frank tonight. Now,
who's Fat Frank?
This is where I'm going to give you the context. So, in the past, a team that we consider a rival, Chelsea, had a midfielder called Frank Lampard. Frank Lampard, a little bit of a tit, kind of annoying, and at the time was managing Derby County, a different football club that are currently still in this league. We got to the playoffs against Derby County, and in the away match, we won 1-0, which is fine because we come to the home match, we're already in a position of having an advantage.
Right.
We score in the first half of the home match, so we're 2-0 up. It's fantastic. And then something happens. And I'm going to show you why we don't particularly enjoy Frank Lampard.
He just sounds like he has a terrible name, too. I'm sorry.
Yeah. There is a further thing as well, just to note. Earlier in the season, our manager had been caught spying on their training ground to find various things out, which was really funny. And then immediately after this, he did a, I think, 90-minute press conference that was basically a PowerPoint presentation of, I didn't need to spy because I already have all of this information about their team. And it included everything, including like every single one of their players, the formations they'd played in every single match that season so far, how long each and every player had been in what position in their formations, the ways they attacked, the ways they defended. So it was like, I'm just insecure, so I wanted more information, but I didn't need it. And then we proceeded to beat them in the first leg of the playoff semi-finals.
Nice.
And then, having beaten them 3 times this season already, and being 1-up in the first half of this match, this happens.
And Mario and Lawrence just going to that.
Oh my God.
No.
Oh my God. No. Oh.
What an impact.
What an impact. Wow.
Extraordinary.
Oh no, man, that's rough.
But that's okay. We're still leading 2-1 on aggregate.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Complete misunderstanding between.
Oh,
Oh,
quick note.
aggregate. Right. Okay.
Quick note. You will rarely see me compliment the goalkeeper that was in that clip. Not just for that clip, but the next season he got banned for 12 matches for being a racist.
Oh,
Anyway, we go on.
Casilla and Cooper.
poof.
Here's Richard Keogh. Finds the pass here for Wilson. It's great football. Mason Mount here for Derby.
No.
2-2.
What does he do? I hate that man.
You see
Cocky.
Wilson, he's aware of where Mount is. You think he's just lost it. Even when he loses his balance, he still has the presence of mind to scoop it over Casilla, who goes down to the ground. And what a start to the second half for Derby. Bogle, Bennett. Mount wanted it, but here's Lawrence.
Oof.
Definite ball by Cooper.
No.
It is a penalty to Derby.
This is so hard to watch. I just feel like I know where this is going. Oh my god. No. I've seen enough football matches now. Oof.
This is going to be 3-2.
Ugh. Goalies, man. They have such a tough job sometimes. I feel for them.
We're not feeling for Kiko Casilla.
True, okay.
Dallas scores, which is fine. 3-3 on
Okay.
aggregate.
Yes.
Boy, does he make it look easy.
I miss Stuart Dallas so much. What a guy.
I just don't like his last name because we don't like the Dallas Cowboys.
No, but we like Stuart Dallas.
Okay. Dude's a good dude.
He's lost out.
Oof.
Oh, Berardi, that was
I
naughty.
forgot Berardi got sent off in this match.
Oh, I like his number. Good number.
Good night.
Good night. Oh, some of them just ham it up for the camera, I swear.
Oh, and a chance for Mario once more.
No. Oh, gosh. Poof. Sad. That's sad.
So that's why
I
we
feel
don't
that.
like Frank Lampard.
Okay.
And Frank Lampard, earlier this season, came back to management in the Championship and is now managing Coventry City. We beat
We're playing
Coventry,
tonight.
who were playing tonight.
Yes.
We beat them, I think, 3-0 earlier in the season. Maybe. I'm going to have to double check that. But now we go to their place. And they are currently
Oh,
on
it's
a
okay.
4-match winning streak. Which
4
is,
matches. Oof.
which is, admittedly, we're doing pretty damn well ourselves, like having just beaten Cardiff 7-0. But I don't know. We got to silence Frank, and we got to hear that beautiful song, Stop Crying Frank Lampard, all over again.
Okay, the last time we played Coventry was 3-0 for Leeds.
Okay, that's helpful. That's good. It's good for the soul. It's soothing.
Yeah, but they might want redemption.
They might want redemption, but at the same time, we want redemption too, right? For not going up, for Frank Lampard doing his thing.
Yeah.
Changed my mind after watching that video. Hope we hammer Frank the Wank. I also hope that we
Frank the
absolutely
Wank?
hammer
Oh my
Frank the Wank.
god.
And that's my new favourite nickname for him. Can't have been now but saying hey because I miss Crystal, says Baby Zebra.
I miss you too. I'm right here. I'm sorry. I've just been a loosey-goosey in the head, but we're back. We're back, baby.
So, to the chat, what are we thinking are the predictions for the match tonight against Coventry City? I'm feeling okay about it. I'm thinking we've got enough going forwards. I think they ain't got enough defensively. But there is a little bit of me that's spooked. But then again, there is naturally a bit of me that is spooked. I'm mostly positive, though. We have LUFC. Right, okay. I'm going to test my American geography knowledge. That's Minnesota, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I hope so. Otherwise, I'm going to look at right tit.
I think it's
can't
Minnesota.
I can't think of any other American states. Yes! Yes! I got it!
How's the weather there, man? I'm sure it's cold. I think it's probably snowy.
It's probably colder than it is for us, so I feel silly about us complaining earlier on.
10 degrees.
4-1 to us, says Leon. 3-1, says Michael. Loz says 3-1. I'm thinking clean sheet, I'll be honest with you. I don't think we concede.
I say 2-0. I say 2-0. And Dan
2-0.
James gets another one. It's going to be his 26th with Leeds.
You're just a stats machine right now. It's great.
Listen, no, I saw them post a photo with him, and I was very excited. I even commented on it. I was like pumped. I'm like, our guy, Dan James. I love him. You know that.
He's your favourite by a long way, and it's fantastic.
Yeah.
One reason is also the fact he's an insufferable pregnant fish with an inflated sense of his own ability and importance and the most smackable face north of Michael McIntyre.
Can I say something about this? So the team that the Chiefs are playing this Sunday in the Super Bowl, the Philadelphia Eagles, their coach, Nick Sirianni, his name is. He's Italian. You can tell by that name. He's got a very punchable face. There's something about it that I just want to punch. So I don't know if I can cheer for that guy. I just can't. So I get what he's saying with this. Very insufferable. There are people like this.
Anyone with a punchable face, you just got to get rid. Like, it's not worth spending the time on them. For context, this is the punchable face.
He kind of looks like Sirianni a bit. Look up Sirianni. So they're the same. They have this weaselly face. It's a weasel. You know what I mean?
He is. I didn't mean to make him bigger. I'm so sorry.
Okay, but he kind of looks like a younger Liam Neeson a bit, and I.
Don't do this. Don't. No, we're not.
I love Liam Neeson
No.
Oh, this is fun. Can you just push the call? Honestly, this is my fault, guys, because my daughter wasn't going down for her nap, and there was all this stuff, and I needed a shower, so we had to have a later show today.
Does he look at all like this guy?
A younger Liam Neeson. Oh, you're saying Nick Sirianni. Yeah. Nick Sirianni looks like a very disheveled version.
He does look a little bit thin.
Just weaselly. I don't mean that they actually look alike, but they both have very punchable faces.
He has
you know what I mean?
A lot of
it's
shit.
The beard that's throwing you off. Look without the beard and the big nose at the end. It kind of looks the same. I don't know.
It's like if Frank Lampard let himself go a little bit.
Yeah. Frank the wank.
Tony thinks 0-0. Izumi thinks 2-1. I don't think we concede. I think we'll be okay. Indeed, I shall see you very soon, Shane. We will enjoy the game very much. Better than Andy Reid. I know he's got a stupid face. I've seen his.
Andy Reid. Okay, but I will say he looks kind of like a walrus, and this is a known thing. But he has cheeseburgers in his locker room after a big win and stuff, and I really respect that because I'm a big cheeseburger girl. So I do like Andy Reid. I just don't like him winning in the Super Bowl against the 49ers.
In the kindest way possible, he looks like the kind of man that has cheeseburgers in the dressing room after the match.
Yeah.
There aren't many kind ways of saying that, but anyway.
This is the best show of all time.
We're going to have to come to a close in a minute, but what I'm going to do before we do so is I'm going to open up the place where we all love, where I've not got any banners prepared for. There it is. I'm going to... Questions Corner. Of course, it has to be Questions Corner. So if anyone's got any questions, chuck them in the chat and we'll cover them. We'll do 2, I believe.
I have a question. What time's the game at today?
Your time, I believe, it will be 8:45.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
It's 7:45.
Baby's in bed. I'm going to have a glass of wine. We'll watch. Can you send me the link?
I will discuss this after the stream.
Okay.
But yes.
Yay.
There will be a way of watching.
Question. Come on.
Questions Corner's just gone quiet. It's such a shame. So wait, as in Scum fans or the other one? Because the other one we don't mind. If it's Man City, it's fine. But if it's Scum fans, that's disgusting. What's not going to be playing at Leeds at the start of the season? I'm going to say yes, because screw it, we're going up. He's going to stay. It's going to be great. And
we are going up. I love this confidence. Yeah, are we worried about Burnley at all? This is JJ Watt's team. I don't know if you know who that is.
I've heard the name. But
JJ Watt used to play for many teams. He was with the Arizona Cardinals for a bit. For a minute, yeah. And he is one of the best defensive players of all time in the NFL. Used to be, former. And now he's got, I think, ownership or some kind of big stake in Burnley. And like he posts pictures of his son and his son supporting the team. And it's very cute, but we do not cheer for them. Don't worry. But I do think it's sweet.
Burnley at the moment are playing the most boring brand of football on the planet. So if they go up, I'm going to be deeply depressed.
Oh.
What
if they go up with us, though? That's okay.
Yeah, but I don't want to see boringness rewarded, you know? Like,
Yeah,
have
fair.
a bit of fun. I'm going to cover this one before we cover our final one. Thoughts on tonight? I think we're going to win. I think we're going to keep a clean sheet. And I'm going to go super optimistic and say we pummel them 3-0. And finally, Righteous One's final question. Crystal, would you rather have world peace in exchange for no hats?
Yeah, for
You're
sure.
getting rid of hats for world peace?
I'll get rid of hats for world peace. Come on, man. What kind of? I'm not a selfish person. I'm very. I want the world to not suffer anymore. I want to see people happy. I don't want any sort of situation. I've dealt with a lot of crap on my own. I've seen things go on. We all see what's going on in the States. There's a lot of not great things. So world peace for sure. I'll get rid of the hat for world peace.
It's a very charitable shout. So
Yeah.
fair enough.
It's a big deal for
I
me.
can here
You
for a
guys
bit
know.
just as you're leaving. I'm sorry, baby zebra. I've got a meeting at 2. I need to head off.
We love you though.
And one final question: the player of the season so far. Are we agreed with it? It's Dan James. It's Dan James.
Yeah,
Right?
I was just going to shout it from my rooftop. It's Dan James.
It's obviously Dan James.
Daniel James.
There we go. And with that, we're going to bring this stream to a close. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, pop a like on it. Can we just have Crystal? I mean, I can leave if you want.
Guys, I have a waking baby. She's about to wake up. She's been screaming. I don't know if you can see her, but
like the stream if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're not yet. That's always really appreciated. You could even become a channel member where you get a bunch of crap early. It's not crap. It's great. It's good fun, but it's the same stuff as happens normally anyway. So it's up to you. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you later. Toodaloo.